Algo que a mí siempre me ha llamado la atención es cómo ellos al venir como adolescentes, porque pues, a los 18 años todavía está uno en encontrarse a sí mismo, cómo fue para ellos el introducirse en la transición para meterse en esta cultura. No sé quién quiera responder.
I think it was hard probably to leave the house, to leave my mom and my dad. And when I left, it was only my sister was left in the house also. My brother has left to college already, so being away from them was hard at the beginning, and it's still, you know, we living away from the house, you always have those memories of family, of the mom and the dad taking care of you. And so when you move to a different country, a different culture, is a little bit more difficult than just moving away from your home.
How old were you?
I was 19 when I left from Guadalajara. I went to Texas, and so for me, at least Texas, it's pretty. I was going to university right on the border, like 1 hour from Tamaulipas, and so there was a lot of guys from Mexico as well going to university, and so it was maybe a little bit easier in that way that there was a lot of friends from Mexico, and, but then at the same time you gotta assimilate the language, the paperwork, the university. You gotta get yourself used to living by yourself, but also living in college, you know, with a lot of guys doing the same thing, moving away from home and trying to find their way, trying to find their interest in school, but also in their lives, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, it was something important or interesting is that we always kept in touch with our parents, either by phone or we try to visit home maybe after whenever we had breaks in school. So that was something that, you know, keeps you in track or gives you strength just to go visit and talk to them for a little bit, spend some time with them, and then go away again.
Excuse me, Magdiel, how will that fit into your path as a pastor, your experience? How does that contribute?
Well, I think en español se dice como es el versículo que instruye al niño en su camino y cuando sea grande, aun cuando sea grande, él no se apartará de él. And I think when I want to become a pastor, you know, answering the call from the Lord is that opportunity to share with the people, to share with the youth, how the Lord keeps us in His path. How, you know, we might go away from home, we might go away from the Lord, but He's always calling us. He's always waiting for us to come back. And through His word, He's calling us always back. So I think the opportunity to become a pastor, to prepare ourselves in the Word, to take this Word to the world, to the people, is just a blessing. And I guess it's what I look forward to, be able to share with the people, and as a pastor to guide the church, instruct them in the Word and in the Lord.
Misael.
Well, I came when I was 18, like I said, and it was difficult, you know, because we didn't have Skype. You know, now we have Skype, and internet is more accessible, you know, the communication. But I didn't have, I didn't talk to my parents as often as I do now. But it was a hard, also journey when I first came. You know, still trying to find myself. So, you know, I was trying to find myself, but also trying to find myself in a different country. So it was, you know, two different things. You know, trying to fit into a culture where it was mostly American, white American. I was the only Hispanic, the only Mexican, the only Latino. So assimilating to the culture was very, I needed to, speak English because there was nobody around to speak Spanish. So in a way it was, that assimilation, it needed to be done. And so it was very difficult.
Wow.
Very difficult. I didn't see a lot of Hispanics, Mexicans around, and so it was difficult. But it also was an opportunity to get to know in a very good way the white community and their values and their way of talking, language. So it was really good because I made a really good friends with a lot of them, a lot of students in college, and they really welcomed me. They really accepted me, and they taught me good English, slangs, jokes, and so I was able to really quick to fit into that community, to feel comfortable. And once in a while I will remember back home how a picture of how home was like, a picture of just family. And so once in a while it was this happy, great scenery with different country, different culture, but you will have those flashbacks to kind of sadness. And I left home and I'm by myself, and family is very important.
How old were you when you left home?
18.
18.
So,
No. Okay.
so, because I guess the way I see it, my culture is pretty family oriented, pretty community oriented. So when you don't have that community, sometimes you get isolated. It's not good. You have to be with the community. And so, but I found that community, in a community in Issaquah, and I felt at home. And the church has been always also that family. And so I reconnected with the church here in Washington, and so that became my family here in the United States. And so I have always had that community around me. It's hard for me to operate by myself. You have to have that community for me always. And when you don't have that, you tend to isolate yourself and just maybe fall into sadness and destructive patterns.
On Sunday, when your dad gave his first sermon in English, and I want to ask you both about that, but after the service on Sunday, I met a couple who love you very much, the de Blasios.
Right, yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about their importance in your life?
Yeah, they've been people who have been very supportive, and they're part of my family already. And when I came to Yakima, I found this Hispanic community that I miss, so much. I remind me of home, and so I found all these Mexican products, pan dulce, and so I really got excited. It's like a little Mexico over here that I didn't know of, for 5 years. So when I was here, Jane was working at the church that I worked as a youth director with the youth, and she became a person who helped me, who guided me, in getting to know the people at the church, and she taught me just all these administrative things at church too. And so that became Jane and Vic a relationship by just talking to them, and we exchanged experiences, and they've been very special, and they're very excited that they were very excited when I told them that I decided to go to seminary. And I didn't know how I was gonna be able to go, you know, because education is not cheap, and so it was a blessing. I see it, you know, God sent them in my journey to share with them my desires, my dreams, and so they were very supportive. So they have been supporting me in my education, in my seminary, and every time I come back, I share with them what I learned, and it has been, our relationship has become so close that we just it's like my second mom.
That's what she says.
Yeah.
And how is that for you, Abiut, to hear that that your son has people who love him this much here? Que hay personas aquí que aman sus hijos.
Bueno, yo me siento muy, pues, halagado. Es un honor poder recibir de gentes halagos para mis hijos, ayuda para mis hijos. En realidad siempre, desde que ellos están aquí, donde han estado, mi esposa y yo hemos recibido muy buenas referencias de sus actitudes, ¿no? De sus comportamientos. Y por esa razón, hace un momento dije que estoy seguro que donde ellos estén, donde ellos trabajen, van a ser de bendición para muchos. Y lo digo con la seguridad de que por eso que he visto hoy y porque, bueno, sentimos la presencia de Dios, y cuando Él te guía, cuando Dios te guía, siempre puede ser de bendición para otras personas. Y es lo que... No somos perfectos, no son perfectos. También ellos, ¿verdad? Tienen sus queveres, como decimos en México, ¿verdad? Tienen sus tropiezos como todo ser humano, ¿verdad? Pero sobre esas cosas son personas.
Magdiel y Misael, ¿pueden hablar un poco del sermón de su papá en domingo en inglés?
Yeah, I think what we knew was the first time he would preach in front of people, you know, in English and with people. And we have heard him before talking, but just with other people, just personal conversation. So we walked with him a little bit. We listen to him, and we try to, in our poor English, we try to help him out with pronunciation, or just so that he will feel comfortable when he was delivering his sermon. And I think we were really, at least for myself, I was relaxed. I knew he was gonna do great. We practiced on Saturday, and we listened to him. He's been here in the U.S. a year and a half only,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good progress. It's a good improvement. It's a good first step. So, without a doubt, in the future he will be able to do it again.
Yeah, that's great. Misael?
Well, I think it was a little scary because it took me back to where I first, gave something like that, like a speech, or when I first spoke in front of people. So, in a way, I was, scared for him, knowing that it will be all English-speaking people. But he did really great, and
He did.
I was very impressed, and I got the message and everything, and he did really good, and so I was very happy to hear him take that challenge, because it is not easy to step up and say, hey, I'm gonna do a sermon and read the scripture in English when you're just here a year and a half. It took me a while for me, before I had to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning. I'm still, improving.
Yeah. Let's go deeper. That was the theme. How do you say let's go deeper in Spanish?
Vamos más profundo, algo más.
Vamos más profundo.
So when you come, you have to learn all those things, and so you make a lot of mistakes, but you also seek help from other people. And so, like we have mentioned, the Lord has blessed us with other people helping us, and maybe just being brave and doing it on ourselves and trying to find ways. So I guess maybe one of the fears for me when my parents moved to the U.S. were those things, that I knew they had to learn the language, and there were things they might not know just because of a different place. And so I was afraid, maybe a little bit afraid of. Sometimes we know that there are how people will treat them. Like sometimes when you listen to somebody that doesn't speak your language, you get a little bit desperate, or you get nervous, and you don't know what to do. And so there's problems in communication.
And you two, you and your brother came first.
Right.
And then you had to let your parents come on their own and go through that same difficult journey.
Right.
Wow. What love you must have now for your parents to be able to see them here. Wow.
Yeah, it's difficult because you have walked through the same journey, and you have also, at least me, I have heard many stories of even more difficult journeys than mine, and so it is difficult for me to see them sometimes struggling with the English or directions, and like my brothers say, it has been people around us has been a big blessing, and I hope that God could use me so that I can be a blessing for others, so that I can be of service when people decide to be here or who are struggling with the community here in the United States. But I like it here because of the different languages, the different cultures that we have here in the United States. It's a country with many cultures, and so I like that interaction with the multicultural cultures that there is here.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias, Abiut, Magdiel y Misael, para esta charla esta mañana en el jardín de Esteban y Caro.
Muy bueno.
Gracias.
Gracias.